Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a fun, quick little tutorial for you, but I'm going to be showing you how to make the Tunisian honeycomb stitch. So this is such a fun stitch to learn. It's great for multiple different projects, and it's made only using 2 stitches. So the simple stitch and the purl stitch, which these stitches are pretty simple to learn. So yeah, I'm super excited to show you guys how to do this. Some of the materials that you're going to need for this tutorial is of course some yarn. I'm using Lion Brand Lazy Days yarn, and I'm also using a 6.5mm Tunisian crochet hook. It's in a letter size K, but you can also just use a regular crochet hook since we're just making a swatch. All right, let's get into our tutorial. So to start off our stitch pattern, we need to chain an even amount of stitches. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I will be chaining 12. Alright, so go ahead and grab your yarn and go ahead and make a slip knot. What you want to do is you want to wrap the yarn over your finger twice, take the back piece, push it over the front piece, and then take the front piece and push it over the back piece and over your finger. Then pull tight for a slip knot. Go ahead and grab your hook, insert it into that loop, and then pull tight one more time. Alright, so let's go ahead and chain 12. So yarn over and pull through for your first chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, okay, so once we have 12 chains, we are going to be working our first row, so our standard row in Tunisian crochet, but we're going to be working it into the back bumps of the chains. So all you have to do is just flip over your chain, so you're now looking at the back bumps of the chains, and you're going to be inserting your hook underneath each back bump. So let me grab my darn needle here so I can show you a little bit better. But your back bumps are these spaces right here. Okay, so that is where you're going to be inserting your hook. All right. So we're going to skip the first chain like in regular crochet, and we're going to work our hook underneath the second chain, so the second back bump. Then yarn over and pull through, just like that. Okay, so you're just going to take your hook, insert it underneath the back bump, yarn over and pull through. Okay, and just continue to do that until the end of the row. Alright, so I've just finished working into each bump, and so that is called our forward pass, and so now we're going to work our return pass. So for the return pass, you're going to yarn over and pull through the first loop on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. And so for the remainder of the loops, you're going to be pulling through 2 loops. And that'll be your return pass. Alright, so I've just finished my return pass, and so now we're going to be working our Tunisian honeycomb stitch pattern. Okay, so for this pattern, you'll be working 2 stitches, the simple stitch and the purl stitch. You're going to first make the simple stitch in the second stitch of the row, because you always skip your first stitch, and then you're going to make a purl stitch. Okay, and you're going to alternate between these 2 stitches until the end of the row. Alright, so let's make our simple stitch. What you want to do is, you want to find your first stitch, which is right here, okay, because we're skipping this one. You're going to insert your hook underneath that loop, that bar, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through. And that's it. That's how you make a simple stitch. Now we're going to be making a purl stitch. So for a purl stitch, you want to move your working yarn forward, go underneath that loop, so that bar, and then move your yarn back and over, and then pull through for a purl stitch. Okay, and so you can tell the difference between the two because your simple stitch is going to be more of a straighter line, and then the purl stitch is going to be slightly curved. Alright, so let's do that again. So our next stitch would be a simple stitch, so take your hook, go underneath that bar, yarn over and pull through, and now we're going to make a purl stitch. So move your yarn forward just like this, then take your hook, go underneath that bar, then move your yarn back and over, and then pull through for a purl stitch. Okay, so you just want to continue to do that until the end of the row. Alright, so I've just finished working my last stitch, which was a purl stitch, and so now we need to make one more stitch for the end of the row, which is called your last Tunisian stitch. So all you want to do is, I'm going to grab my darning needle here so I can show you better, but all you want to do is put your hook underneath these two loops right here. Okay, so if I flip it over, it's going to be these two loops. Alright, so I'm going to grab my hook and go underneath those two loops, which I have 1, 2, and then just yarn over and pull through. Okay, and that's how you make the second row. All right, okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to work our return pass. So the return pass is just going to be the same as our standard row when we just started. So you're going to yarn over, pull through the first loop, then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And so just continue to pull through 2 loops until the end of the row. All right, so I've just finished working my second row, and so now we're going to start our third row. So for the third row, it's going to be very similar as the second row, except you're going to be working a purl stitch first and then a simple stitch. So it'll be purl, simple, and so forth until the last stitch. Okay, so remember, we're going to skip that first stitch, and we're going to be working a purl stitch in the second stitch. So move your yarn forward. And you can even put your finger right here to keep the yarn from moving, and then insert it underneath that bar, then move the yarn forward and over, or I'm sorry, backwards and over, and then pull through that loop, just like that. Okay, and so now we're going to make a simple stitch. So we're going to insert our hook underneath this bar right here. So just go underneath it, yarn over, and pull through for a simple stitch. All right, and so now we're going to make a purl stitch. So move the yarn forward, go underneath that bar, and then move the yarn back and over, and then pull through for a purl stitch. Okay, and just continue to alternate between those 2 stitches until the end of the row. All right, so I just finished making my last stitch, which was a simple stitch. And so now we're going to work our last Tunisian stitch. So make sure you insert your hook underneath those 2 loops in the back, and you can always flip it over. Okay. All right, so here we go. Work my hook underneath those 2 loops, making sure I have 2, 1, 2, and then yarn over, pull through. All right, and that's our forward pass for the third row. So now we're going to work our return pass. So yarn over and pull through the first loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. All right, so I've just finished my return pass for the third row, and you should have something that looks like this now. You'll start, these little mini honeycomb stitches will start to form. Okay, and so now the stitch pattern becomes very easy because all you're going to do is just alternate between row 2 and row 3. So your next row, which would be row 4, would be a repeat of row 2, and then your row 5 would be a repeat of row 3. And that's it. That's how you make the honeycomb stitch. So I really hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial on how to make the honeycomb stitch. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!